Hi, and welcome to another episode of Starship Gaming. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications of when we release more awesome videos. You'll get to see them as soon as we release them. Yeah. So let's jump right into today's subject. So today I'm going to discuss something about the Atari VCS that I've really been deeply thinking about. And of course, everything I state in my videos are opinion. A lot of them, my personal thoughts are, are theories or facts or whatever. But what I really want to discuss is, can the Atari VCS hold up to, or compete, I should say, with other consoles, such as the Xbox One or the PS4 or even the upcoming Xbox Series X or PS5 or even the Intellivision Amico. So the first thing that we need to get out of the way is that the Atari VCS will not have physical games. Unlike PS5 and Xbox Series X and Intellivision Amico, which will have physical games, and of course the pre-existing PS4, Xbox One, and of course the Nintendo Switch. Now that we got that out of the way, that's the first big disadvantage that it has when competing against these other consoles. So that could be a bad thing. It could turn off, up to my guess, up to 30% of gamers worldwide. So we got that out of the way. Now, of course, it will be able to download games, which a lot of gamers already do for a lot of their games. Now, of course, that depends on the titles. I mean, there's been a lot of, a lot of stuff that's been announced about it, but that has a lot to do with it, like what kind of games you'll be able to play online. Of course, from what I've heard, you'll be able to use Twitch with this console and live stream your games and whatnot, so that's an advantage. But of course, another thing is online multiplayer. How will it compete with the likes of Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo? And that's something that's kind of hazy right now, and it's up to much debate. So that's the first thing I want to ask you. Do you think, in terms of online multiplayer, it can hold up to, Xbox, Microsoft, Nintendo, or even PC gamers? Do you think the online multiplayer can hold up and actually be, comparable or better or worse than the ones I mentioned? Sorry if my question is a little confusing, but I think you understand, I think you get the picture what I'm trying to get at. And another question I want to ask is, does the idea of not having physical games for the Atari VCS turn you off from buying it? Now, of course, another thing about the Atari VCS, look at the regular controller, the controller on the right. It is basically, it's no different, honestly. It's almost identical to an Xbox One controller. If you have an Xbox One controller, take it out right now, look at it. Basically identical. And also ironic, the, I should say wireless or wired controller for the Nintendo Switch basically looks the same as this one, which in turn looks the same as the Xbox One. So somewhere down the line, somebody thought it would be interesting to make a controller that looked exactly like an Xbox One controller because it was functional. But the button layout, the A, B, X, Y, they're exactly the same as on the Xbox One controller. And everything else laid out nearly identical. So someone cheated on their homework here. So I'm going to consider that a strike against the Atari VCS. Very, you know, yeah, it's a fresh look to it, but it's already based on a pre-existing controller, and honestly, I find that unoriginal and somewhat boring. But the controller on the left, of course, is based on the joystick that was released for the original Atari. Of course, that I know of, there's no other console that has a controller like that other than the Atari, and of course those cheap at-game wireless Atari whatevers. But for modern gaming, there is not a joystick like this, so I guess we can consider that kind of original and honestly a great idea. And also, in all honesty, I would really like to see a controller like this released, if it hasn't already. I haven't seen one released for the Xbox One or even the Nintendo Switch, you know, of course, when it's docked. But, you know, I would have liked to have seen that, but, of course, the Atari VCS is going to come with one, and honestly, I gotta give them thumbs up there. That was genius, bundling that. So, they got some good marks there with me on that idea. Now, let's take a look at the design. And the design is honestly a lot, you know, radically different from any other console that's out right now. Of course, you know, it's really basic. All your, you know, well, it's based on the look of the original Atari 2600, which I'll give them thumbs up there. That's original, and I love the wood grain. Of course, it's going to come in other colors too, like red and, you know, some other stuff. But yeah, I really like that, and I'll give them a thumbs up for originality on that. Of course, the size of it, you know, is pretty moderate, so it'll fit good on your in front of your TV. So the question remains, is it going to be popular? And as of right now, we really don't know. I mean, is it going to hold up to the standards of a typical gamer? Like, say you have a hardcore gamer that plays Xbox. Is it going to hold up to his standards or her standards? Or somebody who prefers the portability of the Nintendo Switch? Or, you know, will it hold up to the typical PC gamer? Of course, I know PC gamers, a lot of them believe that they are the masters of the universe, and they do not touch consoles. I know some that are pretty hardcore. But jokes aside, is it going to hold up to their standards? And we really don't know. Now, from my personal opinion, it could hold up to my standards if it has a decent lineup. I mean, I've read the games that are being released for it, and a lot of them, they catch my attention, but then again, there's a lot of them that don't. I just see them as filler material. So on that one, we'll just have to wait and see when, you know, eventually it's released. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on about the Atari VCS all day long, and, you know, and talk about so much about it, comparing it to other consoles, and, you know, what people like about it and what they dislike and everything, but that would be too long of a video. And the thing is, I have high hopes for it, just like the Intellivision Amico. Of course, I believe the Intellivision Amico is going to obliterate the competition. By competition, I mean the Atari VCS, because it just, Tommy Tallarico, I mean, I'm not being biased here. I mean, I support both consoles, the Atari VCS and the Intellivision Amico, but I think the Intellivision Amico might have more to offer. So, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think? Do you have high hopes for the Atari VCS? Do you think it's going to succeed? Do you think it's going to fail? Or are you one of those people who think it's just one big scam and they just want your money? Hopefully it's not a scam. I mean, we've seen the actual stuff, and of course they're reworking it and everything, so, we'll just have to wait and see. So, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell on your way out if you want notifications of when we make more awesome videos. And until next time, I will see ya.